grade 11 mindsetters. Welcome to Learn Extra Live. I'm Katleho, and you guys know who this is. His name is Peter, in case you didn't know.
Hi,
His
everyone.
name is Peter. And today we'll be doing finance revision. Hey, Peter.
Absolutely. We're looking at money, which is like one of my favorite topics.
Will you leave us with some money today?
No, but my wife will leave with the money.
Okay.
She
Well,
always
that's
does.
good enough. We'll meet
Yeah.
up.
You know, they say money can buy a house, but it can't buy a home.
Yes.
It can buy a book, but it can't buy knowledge. It can buy a bed, but it can't buy sleep. And they actually say that money causes so many problems in the world. So, Kat, I'm going to help you out here.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want you to have any problems in life. So you just give me all your money,
And then,
and you won't have any more
will
problems.
I have knowledge, sleep, and
You'll have it
a
all.
home?
You'll have it all. I don't care what
Okay.
you have, actually, as long as I got your money.
I
Listen,
think-
you tell the views
Yeah,
about this,
tell
and I'll
them.
go over that
Okay,
side.
cool.
We'll
Okay,
see.
if they pay me, I'll tell them. I'm joking. Guys, remember facebook.com/learn extra and @learn extra. I'm looking forward to today's lesson. So you guys keep making sure that you guys have all the questions ready and firing from the word go, so that we can look at your questions nicely and so that we can see where you guys are at as well. And let us know anything, how your week is, how your exams are. I know that's very exciting right now, how your exams are. Over to you, Peter, if you're ready for us.
I'm ready for you indeed. In fact,
Okay.
we're going to start the lesson off with a challenge question.
Okay, cool.
And this will be posted on that computer thing of yours. All right. So let's have a look at this question. Here it goes. One of the most expensive hotels built in the world is located in the United Arab Emirates. It cost $3 billion to build. How many years would the average teacher have to work to build such a hotel? Use the following facts. $1 is worth around about 8.32 Rand, and the average teacher earns 160,000 Rand a year. Okay. Guys, this is based on some true facts. So this afternoon I was looking for a joke, actually, believe it or not, over the internet, and I came across a startling fact, which actually said that one of the most expensive hotels built in the United Arab Emirates, and I was fortunate enough, Kat, to have actually been along and seen the hotel.
Oh, awesome.
Phenomenal, marvelous. And I thought, I wonder if I had a little bit of extra money, if I could build such a hotel. And this hotel cost them, when they built it, round about $3 billion. And I thought, sure, how many years would I have to work as a teacher to earn $3 billion? So what I did was, not taking my personal salary, went onto the website, found the average salary for a teacher, which is round about 160,000 Rand. Okay. And I'm not average, eh? I'm below average.
You're below,
Anyway, yeah, I know.
okay.
Just have a look at me. All right. So 160,000 Rand is the average salary that a high school teacher would earn. Okay. And I went on the website as well and found out that the exchange rate today for the dollar, $1 is worth around about 8.32 Rand. Sure,
Okay.
the dollar's getting quite
Yeah,
expensive,
it
eh?
is.
Just the other day it was 7 Rand
Yeah.
something. All right. So, bearing in mind, the hotel costs $3 billion to build. Bearing in mind, the average teacher earns a salary of 160,000 Rand a year. Bearing in mind that the US dollar is worth around about 8.32 Rand today. Calculate how many years a teacher would have to work in order to earn $3 billion. That's our challenge question for the day, and I think it should be on the computer.
It'll
Is
be
it
up
there?
in 1 second, I think.
It'll be up in 1 second, they say. When a woman says 1 second, that could mean like 3 or 4 minutes. But please don't do the challenge question while we're teaching you, because otherwise you're going to miss the lesson. Do it during the break, okay? Right, so what are we doing today? We are looking at finance. And what we thought we would do before we even look at any questions is we are going to basically today look at what is simple interest, what is compound interest. Okay? But before we even look at those things, let's first of all look at finance as a whole. Let's look at what would happen if I had a budget. I, as a personal human being, all right, so my personal budget, or a budget as a business would have. Right, now, in businesses and even in your personal life, you have income and you have expenditure. All right? You've got to have money coming in. Right? That's why we go to work. Imagine going off to work and you work for absolutely nothing. Right? That kind of wouldn't pay the bills. So you've got to go to work, and when you go to work, you're going off to work so you can earn some money. Now, I know, Kat, that there's some people who actually work who don't work for money,
Yeah.
all right?
Some
a lot of people are
love.
involved with some missionary work and things like that, okay? I remember as a teenager knowing a guy, and he used to go off to the printing press, and they used to print different things and donate that money off to the homeless and all the rest.
Oh, okay.
So they would give up some of their time for absolutely free, and you get people like that, okay?
So there are some good people out there.
There are some good people out there, all right? But generally, we've got to earn some money. They've got to, even these people who work for free have somehow got to get money coming in, like donations or something, because they've got to be able to go off to the shop and buy a loaf of bread or something. So we've got to have some form of income, whether we are in our personal capacity or whether we own a business. Because imagine if you had a business and you had no money coming in. Well, then you wouldn't have a business for very long at all, right? Unfortunately, folk, in life, there are expenses, okay? So you've got money coming in on the one hand and money going out on the other, okay? You've got to pay for certain things. So every month, personally, I know I've got to pay to live in the house that I live in. Every month, I know I've got to pay for my water and my lights. If I don't pay for it, they're going to cut it. Okay? And then I'm not going to be able to bath. And then I'm not going to be able to have any electricity, no lights, can't read, can't put the kettle on to make a cup of tea or something. And for those of you who've been in a case where you don't have electricity or the lights have suddenly gone out, it's really frustrating. Okay? Life can be quite difficult without running water and without electricity. Sadly, a lot of the population in South Africa experience that on a daily basis. But if I want the luxury of running water, if I want the luxury of electricity, I've got to pay for it. Okay? Every month, I've got to pay for my motor vehicle. If I don't pay for it, some man's going to come knocking on the door, ask for my keys, and take my car away. So I've got to pay for that. Besides the fact I've got to pay for my car, I've got to pay for the petrol that goes into the car as well. So there's a lot of money that goes out every single month. I have a little son, and children are expensive. First of all, there's the school fees, and so now we're paying out school fees. We got to pay for the school uniforms. We got to pay for the books. He comes home and says, "Oh, Dad, I really would love a little toy," and so we got to pay for the toy. Okay? There are expenses all the time. So we can say that our finances can be broken up into two categories. There's the income, which is lovely stuff, eh? It's really brilliant. Love it when money comes in. And then we have the expenses. Okay. And the expenses, what's that? CES, eh? Or SES? Come on, you English, you know this. Have I spelled it right?
Expenses, yes, that's right.
Yeah, okay, great. All right. So we got income and we've got expenses. Now, my income can be broken up into two further categories. We can have something called and let's get this in a different color. Let's go beautiful yellow. Okay, we can get something called a fixed income, or we can get a variable income, okay, or a fixed expense and a variable expense. Now, what do I mean by the words fixed and variable? Well, fixed income is basically money that I know I'm going to get every single month. So I know every month I'm getting my teacher's salary. It's a fixed amount. It's going to be put in my bank every month, and I'm going to be very, very pleased with it. A variable income is income that I'm getting in, but I'm not always sure how much I'm going to get in at the beginning of the month. So in the beginning of the month, I don't know. I know there's something coming in, but not sure how much. And by that it could be, for example, interest on some money I've got deposited. So I've got some money in the bank and I'm getting interest on that money. It's coming in, but every month it's going to be slightly different, depending what the balance of my bank account is, and depending as well on the interest that the bank is offering me at the time. My income could also be variable if, for example, I were a plumber or, let's say, an electrician, and I got a lot of business that month. And if I got a lot of business that month, I'd be going in and fixing up people's pipes or electricity and connecting wires here and there and being busy and getting money coming in. I could have a month, though, where suddenly there's very little problems in my neighborhood with the electricity. And so I go along and I might fix up someone's stove one day, somebody's light the other day, maybe wait 2 or 3 days because there's no business, and then maybe on the 3rd or 4th day there's a little bit more business. So I'm getting money coming in every month, but it's not a fixed income. I can't go to someone and say, at the end of this month, I know my bank account's going to say I've brought in 5,000 rand. I can't do that, okay? But on a fixed income, I know my school has to pay me my 5,000 rand at the end of the month. That's what I'm going to get, and that's what better be in my bank account. Do we understand the difference between fixed and variable? And in the same way, when we look at expenses, there are certain fixed expenses and certain variable expenses. So a fixed expense could be, for example, the rent I pay every month for my home. So I know that every month I've got to pay either the rent or the amount on my home loan. Okay, so every month I'm going to go off to the bank and pay them 3,000, or go to the landlord and give him 3,000 for the house I'm staying in, or 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it may be. I know at the beginning of my month, that's how much I'm going to pay out at the end of the month. Another expense could be, for example, school fees. Every month I know I'm paying 200 rand school fees. Okay. Then we get variable expenses. Now, variable expenses are things I know I'm going to spend money on, but I can't tell you exactly how much I'm going to spend. So, for example, petrol. I know that this month I'm going to put petrol in my car because I've got to get to work and I've got to get home. And sometimes I might want to go for a little joyride on a Sunday afternoon. So I know I've got to put petrol in. How much, though, I am absolutely clueless. And Kat, especially because the price of petrol keeps changing anyway. I wish it would come down lately. It's just going up and up and up and up, okay? So petrol prices are varying all the time. And I can't say at the beginning of this month, by the end of that month, I would have spent exactly 400 rand and 32 cents. I can't say that, because of the change in price petrol, and because I don't know how far I'm going to travel every day. I don't know how far I'm going to travel that whole month. Maybe one Friday afternoon I'm totally bored, and being up here in Joburg, I say to my wife, what, let's go to the beach for the weekend. Let's get in our car and go off to Durban. Sure, there my petrol bill is going to be astronomical. Okay, so we're going to pay a lot of petrol and do a little bit of swimming. All right. So, finance broken up into two things, income and expenses. My income can be fixed or variable, and my expenses can also be fixed or variable. Now, how would we get that in a question? Let's have a look here. So, Jimbo has a pizza shop. Consider the table below, which shows the income and expenses for a particular month. So let's have a look. We've got rent, vehicle payments, petrol, ingredients, electricity, telephone, insurance, water, bank charges, salaries, sales, and interest earned. Do I have anything else? No, that's it. Okay, now, what I'm going to do, I'm not even going to look at the question, okay? I'm just going to look at that list, and I'm going to say, let's decide which is income and which is expense. So, with my, what color am I writing in? Yellow. With my yellow, let's write all our expenses. Okay, so rent is an expense, absolutely. So we're going to put an E. Vehicle payments are an expense. Petrol is an expense. My ingredients for my pizza shop is definitely an expense. My electricity is an expense. And what an expense that is. Telephone is an expense. And in my household, oh my Gideon, that telephone bill goes absolutely crazy. When my dear wife and her mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law, not her mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law, so when my dear wife and her mom get talking, and she lives in Cape Town and we in Joburg, you must know what that does to our telephone bill.
I know.
Yes. Okay, let's carry on. Insurance, that is an expense. And we take out insurance just in case something blows up or something gets stolen or something goes wrong. Water is an expense. Bank charges, that's definitely an expense. Salaries, that's an expense. We've got to pay people their money. Sales, now sales we are going to say is an income. We're going to make money. And interest earned is also an income. We're going to make money. Money's coming in from some deposit I've got in the bank, and it's going to come in. Okay. Oh, gee, sorry. Here I go again. Coughing, eh? Right, expenses. Now, we said we've got expenses and we've got income, but what we've now got to determine is it a fixed expense or a variable expense? So let's have a look at this. And again, we're going to use some color, and let's go with this pink. Now, my rent is a fixed expense. I know at the beginning of every single month, I'm going to pay rent. How much I'm going to pay, well, I'm not too sure of. Okay, or I am sure of, rather. That's why it's fixed. I'm going to pay 5,500 every month. Vehicle payments is a fixed expense. I know when the beginning of the month, I'm going to pay so much for my vehicle. Petrol is not a fixed expense. Why? Because we can't say every month how much we're going to spend on petrol. Remember, we just discussed that? Ingredients, again, it's not a fixed expense, because one day I might make or 1 month I might make 1,000 pizzas. The other month I might only make 345. Who knows? So it's not fixed. Electricity, not fixed. Telephone, not fixed. Insurance is a fixed expense. I know. I'm going to pay 2,520 Rand every single month for the insurance on my pizza house. Okay, water is not fixed. Bank charges, now we'll come back to bank charges. Salaries, we're going to say, you know what, that's a fixed expense. Every month I'm going to pay my workers a certain amount of money. Okay, it's a fixed expense. Imagine 1 month if suddenly I say to some of my workers, you know what, I don't think I'm going to pay you very much this month. In fact, I've been watching you, and I just think, you know what, you've got some very nice clothes. You don't need that much money. I'm giving you 25 Rand this month. Or suddenly saying, you know what, I'm in a good mood. Here we go, here's 12,000 Rand. You can't do that. If you tell someone they're getting so much money, that's what they're getting. It's a fixed expense for me, the employer, who's paying that salary. Got it? Great. Let's move on. Now, all my other expenses, but I said I wanted to come back to bank charges, and we will do that shortly. All my other expenses are going to be variable expenses. So they're all getting a little V next to them. Okay. Let's have a look at this bank charges. Now, with this bank charges, we are going to determine, is this bank charges fixed charges? In other words, at the beginning of every month, do I know how much I'm going to pay? Or is it variable charges? Now, that all depends what sort of a bank account you have or what sort of bank you belong to. Some banks say, you know what, like my bank, for example, I've got a very nice bank. They come to me every month and say, Mr. Templeton, every single month, we are going to take away 249 Rand off your account. Why? Just because we're doing some fantastic work for you. Okay. And I say, thanks so much. It's very nice of you. And every month I give them 249 Rand. Every single month. But the good thing about it is I know every month that's how much is going towards my bank. Some banks say, you know what? We are going to charge you. Every time you draw money, we're going to charge you. every time you put in money, we're going to charge you. Every time you write out a check for someone, we're going to charge you. If you take money and you put it in a telly machine, we're going to charge you. In fact, if you go into a bank and speak to a woman behind the counter or a gentleman behind the counter and say, please can I have money, we're going to charge you. So it all depends now how many times I draw money or deposit money. It all depends how many transactions I do. Will depend on the amount of money I'm going to pay out. Okay? So the bank charges could be variable or they could be a fixed amount. So, if you got a question like this, we would hope the examiner would tell you whether it's variable or whether it's fixed. Now, in this example, they don't tell us, but I'm going to presume that it's a variable expense. And the reason why I'm going to presume that, it's an odd amount of money, 242 Rand and 15 cents. It's that odd little 15 cents that's given me a clue that could be a variable. Because normally if it's fixed, it's a whole amount, like 249 Rand. Or 350 Rand, or 129 Rand, or 135 Rand. Okay? But this little bit of 15 cents is telling me, you know what, maybe that's variable. But very naughty of the person who set this question. They should have told you, listen, bank charges are variable or they are fixed. Okay. Now, let's have a look at our money coming in. Now, our money can also be a variable or a fixed amount. In this case, my sales has to be a variable amount of money coming in. Why? Because I don't know how many pizzas I'm going to sell that month. And I don't know if I'm going to suddenly have a special and say, you know what, you buy one pizza for 3 Rand or you buy 2 for 5 Rand. Okay? And you don't know if people are going to buy 2 or just stick to the 1. All right? You don't know what type of pizzas they're going to buy because they all have a different amount or cost you a different amount. So the money coming into my business is going to vary every single month. The interest earned is also going to vary because I'm not sure how much money I've got in my bank account every single month. Okay, it's going to change the whole time. It's not going to be a fixed amount. Are we clear on that? Okay.
I think we are.
I think, seeing we've done all that, we should take a short break and then we'll look at some of the questions.
Okay, cool.
Let's do that.
So get ready, guys. I know you like all the colors and stuff that are sitting there.
And work on the challenge question.
Yes, yes. Work on the challenge question. And I know that you guys have started sending in your answers. So tell your friends to also send in their answers, and then we'll go through them near the end of the show. See you after the break. Welcome back, Mindsetters, from that very short break. I know that you guys are sending in your answers. Please keep sending them through. You know that the challenge question is posted on our Facebook page, facebook.com/learnextra. And from now on, you guys can keep answering that question because Peter is going to check out who the lucky winners of the question are, or who answered the questions right, rather. Hey, Peter.
I will do that, but only do that later on.
Later on.
Okay. All right, folks, so before the break, we were looking at expenses and income, and we said both expenses and income can be broken into variable and fixed. Okay, so what we did was we looked at a pizza shop, and they had a whole lot of different expenses and a whole lot of income, and we decided which were fixed and which were variable. Now, let's have a look at the questions. Now, before we even look at the questions, there's just something I want to say. You'll see that I took that question paper. Okay, and what I did, I just looked at the facts and I spent a bit of time looking at it and interpreting some of those facts. So I looked at it and said, gee, I got some expenses here, I got some income here, I got some fixed expenses, some variable expenses. Okay, good thing to do in an exam. Take your paper and before you even look at the questions, just look at all that information and try and analyze it. Right. Now, if you're doing a paper 1 question, you are going to expect a few simple questions, right? Because there has to be some level 1 questions. And when we have some really good and simple questions, it kind of boosts our morale. Hey, we can do this. And then later on, we go for the jugular and give you some difficult questions. Right, so I'm expecting some easy questions. Let's have a look. Our very first question says this. How much does the water cost this month? So that's quite simple, hey? All we're going to do is say, well, here's my water. How much does it cost? It actually costs 1,821 Rand and 78 cents. Now, guys, if you get a question like that right in the beginning of your exam paper, I tell you what, hey? You just smile from ear to ear because you know you've at least got 1 out of 100 marks for your grade 11 paper. Okay, and that's a good way to start. Next one. What cost the company 2,456 Rand and 52 cents? 2,400, let's look for it. Here it is. It was petrol. So our answer quite simply is petrol cost us that much. And again, folk, easy question, hey? Very simple, very basic, lovely. So far I got 2 out of 2. Going strong. Next one. If 3 people are employed, determine their salary if each earns the same amount. Okay, so what did we spend on salaries? We spent, let's look for it, salaries, here we go, 12,500 Rand. So if we spend 12,500 Rand on salaries, and we employ 3 people, and they each earn the same, we're just going to divide that by 3. Take out our fun little calculator, and we're going to say, right, we've got 12,500. Oops, no, we got one too many noughts. Let's just kill one there, okay? Divide that by 3, and each person's going to earn an amount of 4,166 Rand, 4,166 Rand, here we go, and 67 cents. Now that's a horrible type of question to ask, because who wants to earn the little bit of 67 cents, hey? You'd rather say to your boss, I'll tell you what, rather make it 4,167 Rand, okay? But that's what we're earning. Notice we had to round because we're dealing with cents, so we had to round to 2 decimal places. Guys, so far we've asked nothing difficult, eh? It's straightforward, simple, easy. Let's see what the next question is. My next question says this. List all the fixed expenses. Guys, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because we just did it earlier, before the break. Do you remember? So we know what our fixed expense is. Which of the fixed expenses cost the most every month? Well, what we'd have to do is we'd have to look for all our fixed expenses and determine which one was the most. And it was actually the salaries of 12,500 Rand. Right, our next question. We've got a whole lot of stuff, and it says calculate the total expenses in rands and cents. So what we now have to do is we have to add up all these expenses, all right? And everything is an expense except our sales and our interest earned. So we've got to take a calculator and we've got to add each and every single one of them up. Now, do I really need to do that, Kat? Do you think I need to do that? I don't really think so, huh? Okay, you know how to do that. You take your calculator and you just add up all those figures. So you're going to say 5,500 plus 35 plus 2456,52 plus. And you're going to add up all these figures, all these ones here, and get an answer. The only problem is this. Sometimes we make careless mistakes adding. And guys, I'd strongly encourage you that once you've added up those figures, you write down your answer, cover it up, and then add them all up again. And maybe you add them up once this way, and then you go from the bottom up and you add them again. And just compare your answers, make sure they're the same. Why do I say that? I say that because everybody knows how to add using a calculator. But everyone can make a mistake by pushing a wrong digit somewhere along the lines. You go for the 5 and your big finger hits the 7 or something weird and wonderful like that. And it happens so often. Okay? So if you know how to do something, how sad it would be if you lost the mark because your finger went all crooked. Okay? So that's all we're going to do for that question there. Then the next question says this. Now, Determine the profit margin to 1 decimal place if the profit margin is equal to the profit over expenses times 100. Okay. Now, what we would do, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm just going to show you what we would normally do. Let's try and get rid of this picture. It's in my way. It won't get out of my way. Okay, so what we would do is we'd work out the profit. How do we work out profit? We say my income minus my expenses. So let's say from all the pizzas I sell, plus that interest I earn from the bank, let's just pretend, okay, it's not going to be right, but we're just going to pretend, let's pretend my income was 50,000 Rand. And let's pretend my expenses are 30,000 Rand. Okay? What is my profit? My profit is simply my income minus that expense. So my profit is going to be income minus my expense, which is going to be 50,000 minus the 30,000, which would be 20,000 Rand. So what's my profit margin? In other words, if someone said, are you making 10% profit? Are you making 20% profit? You could turn around and say, gee, I don't know. Let me calculate it. So let's do it. So what we would now do is we would say, right, profit margin is equal to my profit, which in this case would be 20,000 Rand, over my expenses, which in this case is 30,000 Rand, times 100. So we would take out our calculator and say, right, let's look at this. We've got fraction button, 20,000 over 30,000, because that was my expense, multiply it by 100, and I'm going to get an answer then of 67% if I round it to the nearest whole number. So my answer is going to be 67% profit. In other words, sure guys, this pizza shop is ripping you off. You go off to that pizza shop and they're taking all the expenses and saying, you know what, let's add on 67% and rip off our customers. Okay, so this company is making some good money with their pizza sales. All right. I don't think I'm going to go for pizza tonight after this. I'm not paying extra money. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Right. Consider the following table, which shows the cost of water in a specific municipality. Okay, now, folk, what I'm about to show you is one of the most difficult concepts in the grade 11 and the grade 12 syllabus. And in fact, if you're in grade 12, don't you dare leave your living room. You just stay fixed to this now, okay? Because you could quite easily see something like this at the end of the year exam. So a very similar question to this came up, I think it was in 2010, the IEB paper, and I think before that, around about 208 or even 209. Okay, so let's have a look at how we are going to calculate this. Now, what you need to understand is, first of all, when the government came into power, they said that people are entitled to certain things. So the government turned around and said, we're entitled, or people are entitled to free housing, they're entitled to free water, okay, and they're even entitled to a little bit of free electricity. But only so much can be free. So if you look at this water table here, it says if I use between 0 kiloliters and 6 kiloliters, I'm going to get it for absolutely nothing. So if I use 5 kiloliters, it's going to cost me nothing. If I use 6 kiloliters, it's going to cost me nothing. If I use 6,5 kiloliters, I'm going to have to pay. Right. So if I use between 6 and 15 kiloliters, so greater than 6 up to 15, I'm going to pay 4.35. Can you see that? But let's say I use 10 kiloliters. So I've used 10 kiloliters of water. What's going to happen? are the municipality going to turn around and say, right, R4.35, you've used 10 kilolitres, so we're going to say it's R4.35 times 10, your bill is going to be R43.50. Well, if they did that to me, I'd say, hold on, something's not right here. You promised me I'd get some free water. In fact, I'm entitled to 6 free kilolitres of water every single month. So although I may have used 10 kilolitres, 6 of those I'm not going to pay for. Why? Because it's free. So of the 6, I'm only going to pay for 4 of them because you've given everyone 6 free. Does that make sense, Kat? Okay. So I'm only going to pay for 4 kilolitres. So instead of saying, right, let's multiply it by 10, we're going to say, although you've used 10 kilolitres, 6 of them are for free, and so 6 you're paying nothing for. 4 of them you are going to pay R4.35 for each one of those 4 kilolitres. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and we'll look at it in a more complicated example just now. But according to this table as well, if I use more than 15 to 25, I'm going to pay R5.41. Anything from 25 to 50, R7.85. And anything more than 50, I'm paying R11.34. So what they're actually saying is, hey, if you have the luxury of using more than 50 kilolitres every single month. In other words, if you take a deep bath every day of your life, in fact, if you take 2 deep baths every day of the month, you know, that's a huge luxury. You're going to pay for that. If you take a short little shower, well, that's a necessity. And that might fall into your 6 kilolitres and you're going to get that for free. If I drink a little bit of water and I brush my teeth, turn the tap off, brush my teeth, turn it on, clean my toothbrush, rinse my mouth, turn off the tap, well, that might all fall under that 6 kilolitres, and it's essential to clean our teeth and to wash our face. But if I turn the tap on and then go for a walk outside, come back, then brush my teeth while the water's just running, well, you guys, I'm abusing the privilege of having this water. I deserve to pay for that. Okay? And so this whole water tariff is structured in such a way that the more you use, the more you're going to pay for it. Okay, let's have a look at this question. Calculate the cost, excluding VAT, for using 27 kilolitres of water. So we're going to presume that this tariff that we have on the screen here excludes VAT. And we are wanting to use 27 kilolitres of water. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are firstly going to say I can have between 0 and 6, I'm going to pay nothing. All right, so we want to get to 27. That must be my total, 27 kilolitres. It's made up of 6 kilolitres because in this bracket from 0 to 6, there's 6 kilolitres of water. So I've got 6 kilolitres. How many kilolitres are from 6 to 15? Well, from 6 to 15, let's go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put our pen down. 12, 13, 14, 15, I've got 9 kilolitres. So in this bracket, I've got 9 kilolitres. How much has that given me? Well, 6 plus 9 is 15. I still need some more water. In this category of between 15 and 25, I'm going to have 10 kilolitres. That's 10, that's 19, 25. I still need more. Between 25 and 50, I've got 25 kilolitres. So that's going to give me a 6, 15, 25, 50. Hold on, I got a problem. I only want 27. So I don't want 25 here. I don't want all of that. I just want 2 of those. Let's check. 6, 15, 25, 27 kilolitres. Okay. Now, how did I make that amount up? Now we've got to put it in, see how much we're paying for it, okay? If you look here, I've got 6 kilolitres. those 6 cost me nothing. So on my calculator, and you don't have to do this on your calculator, but we're just showing you anyway. On my calculator, I'm going to say 6 kiloliters for no money is going to cost me no money. There it is. So I have absolutely nothing to spend. Okay? So it's 0. That's how much I'm paying for the first 6 kiloliters. My next 9 kiloliters are costing me 4 Rand 35. So I've got 4 Rand 35 and I'm paying for 9 kiloliters at that price, which is going to give me a total now of 39 Rand 15. So I've now got 39 Rand 15. My next set of water, or next category, is going to cost me 5 Rand 41. So we're going to say, okay, so we're paying 5 Rand 41 for how many kiloliters? Here it is, for 10 kiloliters. So times 10, and we're going to pay an amount of 54 Rand and 10 cents. So 54 Rand 10 cents. Happy? Finally, our next category, 7 Rand 85. So we're now going to pay 7 Rand 85, and we're going to multiply that by 2 because I'm buying 2 of those kiloliters in that category, and that gives me a total of 15 Rand 70. So it's 15 Rand 70. Okay. Viewers might be writing in now saying, whoa, this is rough stuff, okay? And I'm more than prepared to do another example. So if you viewers, if you don't understand, just quickly say, hey, do another one, quick. We didn't quite grasp that. Because this is one of the most difficult concepts to understand, okay? So if you don't understand, let Kat know. Say, don't understand, please do another. If you do understand, Kat, they can even write to you down. Say, do understand, move on.
Do you perhaps want to take a break while they maybe consolidate that? Or do you want to just finish
Can we just add this quickly?
Yeah, you can add
All right, let's do that quickly. So what we've now got is we're going to take all these figures and we're going to add them up. And we're going to say, okay, so we've got nothing. And we got 39 Rand 15 cents rather. Okay. To that, we're going to add 54 Rand and 10 cents. And to that, we're going to add 15 Rand 70. What did 15. I do? I did the wrong way. Hey. Okay, let's go like that. 15 Rand 70.7. Okay. Equals, and my answer then is 108 Rand and 95 cents. So 100 and, what was that? 185 and 10 cents. Okay, and that's how much my water is going to cost me. But it's excluding VAT. And I bet the next question is going to say,
what is the VAT?
What is it with the VAT? Okay, I bet that, but we'll hold on to that thought.
Okay, let's hold on to that thought. So now this is the ad break that you guys must ask anything that you're not understanding, because Peter's here to answer everything. So enjoy your break. Welcome back, Mindsetters. I know that your questions are already streaming in, so keep sending them through. And remember, the challenge question is also up. So, I mean, you should have done that during the breaks, but like, if you maybe want to just add up your answers quickly and send them through, you have time to do that. And also just a reminder about the winter school that will be taking place. And grade 11s, yours will start on the 9th of July for the entire week. So in case you just want to get a bit more revision in, you can do it then. Over to you, Peter.
Sounds like a good way to spend a week, eh?
Yeah.
Just sitting down and doing some good old maths literacy.
That's awesome.
Right. So before the break, we were looking at water tables, and the one thing we just got to emphasize is that if you get a table like this, then what you do need to understand, especially when it comes to water, that the categories that are shown are charged at different prices. And so we had to find 27 kiloliters, and we said 6 of them are nothing. 9, and we got the 9 from saying 15 minus 6, so 9 of the kiloliters fall into this category, and for each of those 9 we paid 4 Rand 35, which gave us a total of 39.15. In the next category, between 15 and 25, we had 10 kiloliters, each one costing us 5 Rand 44, total of 54 Rand 10. And then we added them all up and we got to 185 Rand 10 cents. But the question did say it excluded VAT. And so the final kind of question they could give you with that is say, all right, how much are you going to pay with VAT? So how are we going to do that? Well, it's quite simple, hey? All we're going to do is take our 185 Rand 10 cents and add 14%. So we're going to find 14% of that amount. And once we found that, we're going to add it to the 185 Rand and 10 cents. Or what we could do, and let's do this in a different color, we could say, you know what, I got 185 Rand 10 cents, and I'm going to multiply it by the 100% plus the 14%. Now, can you see that 114% can be written as 1,14? Do you see that? How do we get that? Well, 114%, if I get rid of those two noughts, but divide both by 100, I get 1,14. And so then, when we work it out, we're going to say, right, my answer was 185 Rand, was it? 185 Rand and 10 cents. We're multiplying it by 1.14, and that gives us our final total then of 211 Rand, and what's this going to be? 0.14. It's going to remain 0.1. So 211 Rand and 1 cent. Are we happy with that? Of course you are. And we're going to be doing a lot of revision later on, as Kat said, and hopefully we'll go through more of that stuff. And hopefully as well, we'll also get on to interest and do a lot of simple interest and compound interest, because I don't think we're going to have time for that today. What we've got to do now is go through this challenge question.
Let's do that.
Let's do the challenge question. So here it was, and what we're now going to do is say, right, so what of the most expensive hotel cost us $3 billion? The first thing I'm going to do is take 3 billion and write it out as a number. Now, if I've got 3 and I add 3 zeros, I've got 3,000. Add another 3 zeros and I got 3 million. Add another 3 zeros and I got 3 billion. Absolutely. Now we've got that, but take note that was in dollars. So we got to change that, convert it to rands. How do we do that? Well, we know that $1 cost 8 Rand 32. So let's take our 3 billion and multiply it by 8 Rand 32. And now land up and see what this hotel cost us in rands. So if you were to build that same hotel here in South Africa, in South Africa, how much would it cost us? So out comes our calculator, and we're going to say, right, we've got 3, 1, 2, 3, not thousand, 1, 2, 3, not million, 1, 2, 3, billion. Multiplying that now by 8 Rand 32, and we're going to land up with an answer of, oh my giddy aunt, have a look at that answer. Now, when you see that answer on your calculator, can you see it's written in exponential form? Okay, please don't panic about that. We'll look at that later on. Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm going to write or remember that answer in my calculator. So we land up now with an answer of, oops, here we go. Let's just get rid of our calculator. Calculator not going anywhere. Okay, so we've landed up with this answer. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say, right, of that answer, we're now going to divide that by 160,000, because that's the average that a teacher is going to earn. We're going to divide it by 160,000, and my screen seems to have frozen, so I'm just going to tell us, and we're going to work through it. We're going to have the 3 billion multiplied by 8.2. Then what we're going to do is we're going to divide it by the 160,000, because that's how much a teacher earns in a year, and then we'll get our answer. And what is our answer?
Well, let's see. The answer is... I'll tell you what a few people said.
Yeah, tell us what people are saying.
Okay, so some people say it is 156 years, and others say 156,000, and others say 13,000.
Okay. Well, let's just put it this way. The final answer, and we'll pin it up later on, okay, is so huge that I would never earn it if I thought for the rest of my life.
Yeah, Blair even said a lifetime.
A lifetime, absolutely. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, grade 11s, for a fantastic show and fantastic answers. We love the way you answered today. So remember about your winter school starting on the 9th of July. Until next week, have a great evening. Bye.